Hi, my name's Rena. I work here at Technology Management. I'm a NAV consultant and I work in particular in our additions department. Today we're going to be going through the second part of our e-commerce solution. We focus primarily on the admin aspect of it, the NAV setup, and how orders are linked and streamlined between our e-commerce solution and NAV. In our first video, I spoke about the front-end aspects of our e-commerce edition. Today I will be showing you the back-end aspect of it. We'll be going through the admin area, in particular where you can set settings for your website so that you have certain features different to that of other websites, and we will also go through the NAV setup, so how you can show those items, inventory, attributes and categories on your e-commerce solution. Each user, when they have had a website created, will be given a username and password to the admin portal. This can be given to whoever within your company you feel appropriate to have. When you've logged on to the admin area, there are several different boxes, each containing its own feature. We'll first go on to users. Users, as I said in our previous video, can either be created on the website through the registration portal, validating their NAV customer account with their login to the website, or users can be created within here manually. When creating a new user, you click on Add User and you will fill in the details accordingly. Here is an example of a user that has already been created on the admin area. You can see here we filled in the details along the top and we validated their customer account against the NAV account. In doing that, it's pulled through the billing information relating to that customer account. Within here, we have the password aspect of it. Again, you can set the passwords within here, or customers can later change their password should they require through the website. When an account is enabled, it is marked. You can also set certain accounts within this portal to be administrators. These are most likely to be your IT users rather than the customers that you have within here. Once you've logged on to the website, should a customer have an issue, you can impersonate them, so you can log in as them to see what they can see on the website. We can now go on to some of the settings that we have available. Each setting will show a slightly different feature on the website. We generally set up things such as site code, username and password. These are all settings that we provide or you provide us in order for the website to communicate with NAV. We have features such as wish lists. These are things which I showed previously, whereby which customers may set up a monthly wish list or a weekly wish list, or nice to haves which they can then add to their basket later on. We have things such as enable new users. So when a new user registers on the website, you may want to set them to be enabled automatically. So there and then they can put their order on the website rather than having to wait for you to go to the admin portal and authorize it manually. We've got the likes of Twitter. So you can set up your Twitter accounts. You simply click edit on any of the functions within here and you set up your Twitter username and the values, so that'll be your Twitter account. Once that has been set up on the website, you'll be able to see, depending on your styling, where that Twitter account is and how it displays. Any of these functions, providing they've got an edit, can be clicked into and switched on or off. Another one that we have is allow out of stock products to be ordered. This allows, if you have it within your NAV system, back orders. So you may want customers to still place an order even though the item is out of stock, so that you can then give them a different shipment date depending on how your processes work within NAV. If we click into that, it's just a simple tick box. Again, all this allows your site to be slightly different to somebody else's. If we go back one, we're back in our admin area again. We've got the likes of event logs, which control and record everything which is pushed between NAV and the website and back again. Should there be any errors, we can view the errors within here and we can see what's wrong and what's not wrong. A great feature within the admin area is the NAV interface aspect. This allows you to manually push information in which you've created within NAV, such as new payment method, new carriage settings and things like that, straight onto the website. The website works on a controlled system, running a job queue once a day. This allows for the website to move quickly and to work fast for both customer and provider. In having this interface here, it means you can push information without waiting for the job queue, and you can see it straight away on the website, giving your customers more flexibility on what they can see. We've got a box here called System Information. This just gives you a bit of information on what the website is and what it's about. We have the likes of content. Content again shows you a bit of information, general information. If we go back one, email templates. Email templates is a big thing as to when you or your customers need to get information. So we have a few defaults set up, forgotten password. So if your customer was to log onto the website and they'd forgotten their password, they can request a new password. This will then fire off the membership forgotten password email as indicated here. Again, you can go in and you could edit it. You can change the links, you can change the text, you can change the stylings, making it unique to you and your company. As I said, all these are set by default, but it's not to say you can add more to incorporate your processes within NAV. Now that I've shown you the admin aspect of our e-commerce solution, I'd like to show you what we have available within NAV. So part and parcel of buying the e-commerce edition is that you get the objects. You will see these within your NAV environment. So if you go to departments, e-commerce, web data and website items, you will see, if not already populated, a list of website items. These website items are linked to your NAV item card. When you see the item on the website, you see the prices. These all come from the NAV item card. Sales prices and things like that, those all come from the customer that is logged in. So if you don't log on to our website, as stipulated before, you may see a default customer's prices. These will be just general NAV item prices. The minute you log in to the website, you will see your own prices. These may be different. You might have discounts involved. These will all be shown on the e-commerce solution. So within website items, you can see all the information in which needs to be either populated, such as categories or attributes, or that has already been filled in. So we'll start at the very beginning. On the left-hand side, we have here our site code. Our site code is set up within a separate screen, which I will show you shortly. Each site has its own site code. In populating the site code here, you're saying this particular item will be shown on this particular site code, providing it is set to show as always. If an item is blocked within NAV, so a NAV item card is blocked, even though it shows on website as always, for instance, the actual website item will not be presentable on the website. This is to show that you can't purchase it, you can't order it or anything like that from the website. We then have the NAV item number here, so this is pulled through from a drop down. The description comes from the item card. We then have number of images. So on your website, you may show one image, you may show several images for that particular web item. If I click into here, okay, I can then upload images. You can upload as a single image or you can upload as a zip file. If you upload as a zip file, the image has to be named that of the item code. If you're doing a singular one, you could say this item has an image name of fish, for instance. On clicking OK, it will then take me to where I need to pick up that file from. I will select the file, I will click open, and it will attach that particular image to this particular web item. Related information. If I drill down into here, okay, we can see what related information is presentable to that web item. For instance, you could have hyperlinks, you could have text files which are related to that particular web item. So when you see the item on the website, you can see the additional information. Okay, if we look at specification records, when we drill into here, we can see a bit more of a description against that item. So if you want more text, so on the front end of the web item, you may only see a small grouping of text. When the customer was to drill into that item on the website, they may see a bit more technical information. This may be specific to that item, so you may want to add a bit more description. If I come out of that screen, as I said previously, we've then got the show on website field. It's either always or never, so you can filter how and when you want your web items to be shown. If I drill into the next one, number of associated items. So on the website, you could specify when the customer is to pick this item. They may also like this item as part of their purchase. Okay, number of attributes. Attributes are filters which you can show on the website. So you have your categories along the top and you have your filters along the side when you click into that particular category. These are filtered from the attributes within here. We then have our categories. So an item could be in one particular category, highlighted here within the consolidated code, or they could be in several categories depending on what item it is. In drilling into the consolidated code, you can break down even further. So we have our site code as the top level. We then have the categories within that and the subcategories within those, each one showing you how many items are held within that category. If you wanted to drill further, you could then drill into that list and see in particular which items are held against that code. Finally, we have two columns to the right here, our unit price coming from our NAV item card and our available stock. This comes from the inventory. Your inventory calculation may be different depending on how you want your website to run. All these fields, even though drillable within here, can also be accessible along the top here. We will now go to two particular setup pages. We first have our website setup screen. Okay, so if we drill into that, as with anything in NAV, it's a card. So we have our site code along the top, which I highlighted. So for your items to show on that particular site, you will have to have a site code against it. If you had multiple sites and you wanted an item to show on multiple sites, you will set that item up multiple times but against different site codes. You have your site description. This is a field which you don't have to edit. You have your site language, so how it's going to be shown in English. If you have your website set up differently, then you can set that up and the translations will kick in. Location filter for item availability. So you may have several locations set up within NAV. It may be that you only want stock to be shown from one particular location. So you have a main location, you have a warehouse. You don't want customers to access the main inventory, you want them to access the warehouse inventory. So you can set up your location within there if you want to specify it. Show stock levels. So we have three options within here. quantity available, so you may want to show how much of that particular item you have online or available for the customer to buy. This will also show whether it's in or out of stock. This works on a traffic light system. Okay, we then have in or out of stock. This is self-explanatory, either the item is in stock or out of stock, dependent upon your setup, which I'll show you in a second. This option does not show your inventory. That will only be the first option. We then have none. This will leave it blank. You could still allow for back orders as per the setup from the admin portal, or you could say none, and then customers can't order items that are not within stock. They can only see the ones that are. Our stock availability code. So when you select the in or out of stock, okay, you will set up how you want that to be determined. So we drill into that code, we drill into the lines, and we can see what our minimum quantities are as to when it's going to change from in stock to out of stock. You could set up a third one should you require, or more should you require those as well. We then have a little bit of information regarding orders. So there are two types of orders which run through our e-commerce solution. We have the web orders, and you have your returns process as well. You don't have to use the returns process should you not require it at certain stages. We suggest setting it all up just so when you do decide to run it, you can do. Our order number series. So you can set up a particular number series for orders which have been accepted via our e-commerce solution. You may not want that. You may want them to just flow through your normal sales order number series. Again, this is entirely up to you as you whether want something separate or you want to keep them together. Same with the returns aspect of it. We have a bit around accounts. So default pricing group. This is what I was saying when if your customers aren't registered to the website, do you want them to see pricing for a default pricing group? So this is where you'll set that up so they can still browse the website. They can see what you have to offer. They can see prices which are available to them as a non-customer. As soon as you register them, their own prices will kick in at that point. Default salesperson code. When a sales order is created, you can fill in a salesperson code. You may want this option by default when the order is accepted to be filled in. We have our display history period. So how much within the My Account portal do you want customers to be able to see? Do you want them to see 3 months worth of posted invoices? Do you want them to see 6 months of posted invoices? That is the flexibility within here. Okay, when it comes to accepting a new registration of a customer to your website, you can either create them as a new NAV customer or you can create them as a contact against one web account. So you may not want several NAV accounts per customer. You may want one web account, several contacts based on who is being logged in or registered. This is set up within here. So you have your web sales customer number, and then you would untick the new customer per registration user, so that for every contact it puts it against our web sales customer number. We have our on hold code for transaction queries. This was shown in the My Account portal. When invoices are queried, it puts a code against them. This is where this code particular comes from. Payments can also be taken from our website. So you can pay an invoice. This will go through the cash receipt journal within NAV. So you will set up the balancing account, you will set up the balancing account type and the payment number series. We then have our reporting aspect just at the bottom here. All reports run from the My Account portal will run from your report selections set up within NAV. The only report that will not run from that is our statement report. So we have a separate setting here. So you will set up your statement report ID, whether it be the Cronus one or a bespoke report, and you will set up the calculations within there. So when customers go to the account statements on the My Account portal, it will run for these dates and for that report. Once an order has been placed on our e-commerce solution, it will then go into a table called Pending Inbound Documents. It will sit in there waiting for you, the users, to accept the document. This is a manual process but can later be turned into an automated process should you require it. So we will go to Departments, Administration, Inbound Documents, and we will go to Pending Inbound Documents. All orders, when they first come from our e-commerce solution into NAV, will sit within here. They'll be identified either as a web order, or if you're using web return orders, they will also be identified as a web return order. Within this screen, you can accept them should you require to not see what is on the order. But should you want a bit more detail, you can click on Edit, or you could click on View to see this particular order. We have here the header information, so who the order came from. This, of course, is who registered onto the website, so the NAV customer account. Okay, we can see a bit of information populated in the header here. We can see that it's a web order and when it was received into NAV. Okay, we can see the lines. So like a normal NAV sales order, you can see the items, GL account, because there was a shipping charge involved on this particular order. We also have additional information. So it may be that you have some bespoke fields which you need to pass to the inbound document in order to be then received onto the sales order once it's been accepted. These can be held within here. Should more need to be added, those can be added onto here as well. As part of the functionality and the settings within our e-commerce solution, orders can be edited. This can be on the order side or the return side, depending on what you have set up within the admin aspect. Okay, so for instance, should a customer ring up straight away after replacing their web order to say, okay, we need a further item. At this point, you can simply go onto the web order, add that item in, so we'll say 1111, okay, and we can say quantity 1. We can put a price in, and then on accept, that line will then disappear from our pending inbound documents. It will show up here within our accepted inbound documents. Okay, so if we open that document, and then it will show within our sales orders. Once as a sales order, you will then process it as normal. Should an order from pending inbound documents be rejected, for instance, this could be because the customer account is blocked, okay, this will then go into administration, inbound documents, and rejected inbound documents, and you'll be able to see a list within here as to the orders that have been rejected. Again, you can view those orders and you can see what it was that the customer ordered and potentially why it was rejected. One of the things to remember about our e-commerce solution is that it's real-time information. When a customer puts an order on the website, that information is directly input into NAV, and the updates regarding to stock availability and prices is real-time. If you have a quantity of 10 on the website, should a customer order 5, that 10 on the website is instantaneously replaced with the 5, so your customers know how much you have in stock within seconds of that information being pushed into NAV. Our e-commerce solution gives users seamless integration between Dynamics NAV and their e-commerce solution. It gives your users a free time to do what they require within the business rather than going back to their customers or third-party attributes in order to get the information they require. What matters most is that they can focus on their job rather than what is required within the system.